And when I think about data sets, I think about the fact that there's a lot of groups that are there's not a lot of data on them, particularly. And so how are we maybe addressing gaps in data that's being used to train these models? So we know that there's an overrepresentation of, white and Caucasian people in, clinical trials. So
This is incredible
yeah.
question because I was chairing the session on passion advocacy, and one of the session on passion advocacy on 18 in the afternoon in this Congress was on the use of real-world data and AI, and my second talk was on how AI is reducing disparities in terms of real-world data. And I exactly explained there that absolutely, there are possibilities that with AI we can somehow try to also reduce the gaps, and not only, opening the gap or the gap, enlarging it more. So, for example, interesting are the synthetic data for this. So, what are synthetic data? Synthetic data are basically fake passions, but they are starting and are built from the real ones. So they are not totally invented, which means that from a data set of 300 patients, you create 3,000. So these have helped a lot for different questions, but also to overcome some underrepresented populations, which for example was very necessary, rare diseases, rare mutations, etc. So this is a way. The second way is to try to understand in an interventional trial if for that population, for example, we need the type of drug. One of the things that you have to do is why we don't create the control arm with this synthetic data, with this real-world data AI composition, instead of having a control arm, because we cannot permit in rare diseases. So also FDA has already approved some of the drugs, for example, in Willis tumor, in pediatric patient, but also in other settings, synthetic data arms in order to overcome to this problem.